Chosen one. Heaven already circled Friday in ink that doesn't fade. When heaven writes, earth rearranges. You can feel it, the air thicker, time swing different, your spirit on alert. That isn't anxiety, it's alignment. Something set aside for you is nearing your hands. It won't shout. It will land. In a message, in a doorway, in a peace that refuses to leave. Don't chase it. Be present for it. When it touches down, you'll know. This wasn't luck. God did this. Some days, tap you on the shoulder before the sun is up. This Friday is one of them. The warning doesn't arrive with noise. It arrives with density. The air feels different. Your mind lowers its volume. Your body asks for quiet. And your heart notices that something is arranging itself without your permission. When heaven marks a day, preparation starts early. Conversations shift tone. Delays rescue you from rooms that would drain you. A gentle tiredness pulls you inward so your spirit can listen. Don't call this discouragement, it's calibration. Heaven is tuning your frequency so that when the hour lands, you are present, light, and steady enough to hold what comes. The warning comes in layers. First, inside, a memory returns not to trap you, but to seal a lesson. A short phrase sits in your chest like a compass. Stay in your axis. Not yet. This way. The urge to reduce words and increase presence suddenly makes sense. Then, outside, invitations that once felt inevitable lose their shine. Rescheduled plans create room for the rest you didn't know you needed. Small coincidences reveal that Providence is busy behind the scenes. You notice that other people's urgency no longer rules your pace. That time itself is asking for cadence, that the need to please is fading. This is how heaven flips on the warning light, by trading hurry for purpose. Sensitivity rises on the eve of fulfillment. Sounds feel louder, crowds feel heavier, and loud rooms drain you faster. It isn't fragility, it's the guarding of the sacred. Your listening has to be clean to recognize movement. Dreams switch from long movies to small notes. A door locking from the inside. A hug that releases without guilt. A narrow road with just enough light for one honest step. You wake with a quiet clarity that you must not force anything. And that clarity is already obedience. How many times has heaven protected you because you honored that simple, not now? A marked day doesn't demand spectacle. It asks for posture. The warning isn't meant to make you tense. It's meant to make you selective. Less noise doesn't isolate you from the world. It brings you closer to the will of God. Water before screen, word before opinions, answers after a breath. A simple room, a clear desk, a window open to the morning. Tell your nervous system you are safe enough to go slow. Going slow is not delay, it's sustainability. The answers that last prefer a clear landing strip to an impressive runway. You may feel the pull to revisit old conversations, reopen closed doors, explain yourself again. The warning protects you from that. It reminds you that love with boundaries preserves tenderness, that strategic silence is maturity, that reputation grows where consistency lives. The ones who truly care will learn your new rhythm, even if they don't understand it yet. The ones who only wanted access will call your calm distance. and step back. That too is a sign. When peace expands after a clean no, heaven has signed the decision. On heaven-marked Fridays, reality tends to cooperate with those who listen. Delays become deliverance. Lapses reveal motives. Detours place you at the right address without fanfare. What looked like loss reveals space. What looked like emptiness shows as preparation. The warning doesn't say, hurry. It says, inhabit. Inhabit your body with kindness, your calendar with margins, your home with order, your tongue with restraint. In that inhabiting, anointing finds a place to remain. Do you want speed, or do you want permanence? If a gentle weight sits on your chest, treat it like mail delivered. Read it, answer with a short prayer, file it. Long guilt is not repentance. It's prison. Repentance has a step, a date, a decision, and the warning gives you courage to take them with dignity. If a soft joy arrives without a clear reason, receive it. Sometimes, heaven lets you taste the promise early so you remember to eat slowly when it arrives. Joy that doesn't shout is the kind that endures. Keep a simple triage of the Spirit close at hand. Where peace rests after prayer, remain. Where it won't rest, don't force. If it feels neutral, wait. Neutral is never green. The warning positions you for harvest through small, precise, repeatable movements. One honest message that closes a loop. One cancellation that returns energy. One finished task that was clogging flow. One drawer cleared that frees memory. The kingdom grows best on ordinary ground. Out sea shelter. Opinion without rev. There will be invitations into arenas, provocations designed to measure your reaction, and urgent demands presented as proof of love or loyalty. The warning teaches you to choose altar over stage. The altar is where you receive instruction. The stage is where you spend your strength proving points. Today's instruction is light and firm. Speak briefly and cleanly. Care for your body so you don't decide while exhausted. Share only with people who can hold what is still forming. Intercessors are shelter. Opinion without reverence is wind. When Friday touches down, you won't recognize the hour by noise, but by fruit. Breathing in rhythm, focus without harshness, sobriety that keeps tenderness. If someone asks what changed, you may not find the words. You'll simply know that your axis settled, your mind quieted, and your heart stopped chasing what never fed your assignment. That is a warning fulfilled, and the beginning of why this Friday will be unforgettable. Before a real shift breaks the surface, heaven adjusts the plates underneath. It doesn't arrive as noise, it arrives as precision. The calendar looks ordinary, but the cadence changes. Conversations that used to trap you lose their glue. Invitations that once felt shiny go dull. Other people's urgency stops having authority over your pace. Coincidences repeat with intention. A delay that removes you from the wrong room, a casual encounter with the right person, an email landing at the exact minute you chose not to force anything. That isn't luck, that's arrangement. When God prepares a turn, He is gentle and firm at once. He trims excess, sharpens focus, returns your breath. Your body often announces it first. Shoulders lower when you picture the right path. Breath gets tight when you consider slipping back into an old pattern. The stomach speaks plainly when a door requires you to perform a character. Don't call that sensitivity too much. It's the language of your spirit. Awareness rises because your listening needs to separate direction from distraction. Sometimes, the sign is as simple as wanting quiet, straightening your desk, opening a window, drinking water before you answer. Small gestures prepare the field for precise movement. Dreams turn into short notes rather than long films. A key being handed back, a narrow hallway with light at the end, a suitcase you leave behind without guilt. You wake with a steady sense that you mustn't push any doors today. That sense is obedience already. The mind may try to negotiate, but the chest knows. Where peace settles after prayer, there is a lane. Where peace refuses to sit, there is a lesson. If everything feels neutral, it's an invitation to wait a little longer. Neutral is not a green light. Relationships reorder quietly. Those who love you with honor adapt to your new rhythm, even if they don't fully understand yet. Those who are there for access will test your borders and call your maturity mood. Triaging proximity is part of the turn. Connections that feed purpose move closer. Connections that drain begin to lose calendar space. Love with boundaries preserves tenderness for the long road. You don't need a crowd, you need a table with intercession. It's surprising how the atmosphere changes when two people pray instead of debating the same topic for the 1,000th time. Routine betrays the shift in the best way. Tasks that had bled attention for weeks ask to be finished today. Paperwork you avoided takes 20 minutes. One clean no returns entire hours. Heaven works in detail because lasting change doesn't run on spikes of emotion. It runs on constancy. Invisible movement asks for small, repeatable steps. Water before screen. Word before opinions. Answers after a breath. The simple lays track so the extraordinary can arrive and remain. Your environment joins the work. A breathing room lowers mental volume. A clear desk invites focus without harshness. A made bed tells your body it's safe enough to listen. Don't underestimate a cup of water, 3 slow breaths, 5 minutes of stillness. When you choose presence, God translates hurry into direction. Direction appears as the smallest viable step, not a full map. Can you honor the step that fits today without trying to solve your whole life by sundown? Providence starts leaving footprints. The exact words you needed arrive through someone who doesn't even realize they're confirming you on a lost document returns. A memory points with precision to the spot still waiting for healing. This isn't superstition, it's proximity. You don't chase signs, you walk, and signs catch up with you. When heaven is moving, accidents protect you and slips reveal intent. It's delicate and exact at the same time. Distractions will try to escalate. A small conflict wanting to become a fire, a sideways comment begging for stage time. A synthetic emergency attempting to rent your schedule. Invisible movement trains you not to turn noise into a script. Respond less, respond better. Sometimes don't respond at all. The peace that remains after strategic silence is worth more than the short relief of saying everything. Reputation grows where consistency lives. The rest is wind. The turn matures while you care for what is yours. Word kept, finances in order, kindness to those you meet, excellence in work no one sees. Heaven promotes without a spotlight, and the sign of that promotion is lightness with an axis. Not euphoria, clarity. Your heart fits back inside your chest. Your thoughts have room. Hope loses its frantic edge. Joy doesn't need to shout when it has roots. If a soft ache for the old shape visits, treat it gently. Mourning what no longer fits isn't regression. It's your heart adjusting to its new size. 3 breaths, a psalm under your breath, 1 practical act of order, and the cadence returns. What is truly yours won't require you to betray your peace. Doors that demand speed as a password charge interest later. Doors that ask for clean hands stay open without blackmail. In the end, the invisible movements lead you to a simple place. Presence over performance, coherence over custom, direction over approval. Keep 2 quiet questions in your pocket as you walk. Does this preserve the peace God gave me today? What is the smallest faithful step now? Where the answer is yes, and the step fits your shoulders, move without announcement. The shift doesn't need fireworks to be real. It needs roots to last. And when you keep the rhythm, the invisible turns visible, on time, in a way only God can orchestrate. Fulfillment doesn't arrive waving flags. It lands quietly and changes the texture of the room. The first sign isn't outside, it's in your body. Shoulders drop without you noticing. Breath finds a wider rhythm. Eyes focus without strain, like the air cleared after rain. Anxiety loses its leverage, and the urge to justify yourself fades. Nothing explodes, yet everything feels steadier. That steadiness is not laziness. It's the weight of heaven, settling on what has finally reached its time. You'll notice a shift from chasing evidence to walking in it. Where you once begged for signs, now you move and they appear on the path. An email at the precise moment, a remark that unlocks a stuck thought, a document that reappears exactly when the next step requires it. Providence stops feeling like rare coincidence and starts reading like handwriting you can recognize. You aren't hunting for meaning in the clouds, meaning keeps meeting you at ground level. Fulfillment simplifies language. The right yes fits in 1 sentence. The clean no doesn't need a footnote. Conversations that used to spiral end with a single honest line. Your tone softens while your borders strengthen. You don't perform alignment, you embody it. The door that is yours doesn't ask you to become a character, trim your convictions, or sprint on demand. It honors your rhythm of prayer. It stays open when you refuse the password of panic. Have you noticed how peace grows after the decision that once would have terrified you? Another marker is coherence without effort. What clogged your attention for weeks suddenly takes 20 minutes to resolve. What demanded 3 reminders now requires none. People who carry honor lean in gently, ask less, pray more, and give space. People who only wanted access lose interest. You don't need to push anyone out. The new gravity arranges the room. Love with boundaries keeps tenderness alive for the long road. Dreams change register. They stop warning and start confirming. Short notes, not long films. A narrow road lit just enough for 1 step. A door closing from the inside with no regret. A house with windows thrown open to morning air. You wake rested instead of braced. The future no longer needs loud guarantees to feel possible. A whisper is enough when it lands in a heart that is no longer negotiating. Time itself stops being an enemy. You are not racing against a clock. You are walking with a companion. Hours stretch in the right places and compress where protection is needed. Delays feel less like punishment and more like choreography. Even interruptions serve the flow. You learn to bless the edit. You also learn the difference between desire and fulfillment. Desire makes you restless and loud. Fulfillment makes you rooted and quiet. Desire seeks audience. Fulfillment prefers altar. There's a subtle courage that rises here. You return keys that aren't yours to carry. You stop auditioning for rooms you were never called to fill. You say not anymore to the roles that once purchased belonging at the cost of your peace. Authority begins to speak with a calm you can't fake. You don't need to convince skeptics or curate optics. Constancy becomes your argument. Fruit becomes your proof. And the fruit is unmistakable. Focus without harshness, sobriety with tenderness, joy that doesn't need to shout. Work holds excellence without a craving for spotlight. Care for your people stops draining you because it's no longer powered by guilt. Your yes and your no fit your mouth because they fit your calling. You still have challenges, but they no longer decide your name. If doubt taps your shoulder, use the same triage that brought you here. Pray short, breathe slow, check the fruit. Did peace expand? Then walk. Did peace shrink? Then wait. Does it feel neutral? Then don't move. Neutral isn't green. Keep your steps small, precise, repeatable. Finish what was bleeding attention. Send the message that closes a loop. Clear a corner of your space so your mind can breathe. The kingdom prefers ordinary ground because ordinary ground can hold a garden. One more sign. Imagination heals. Fantasies that once drained you lose appeal. Vision gains feet. Plans leave room for margins and rest. Hope stops sounding like a pep talk and starts behaving like architecture. You recognize how God has been patient with your timeline, and you become patient with it too. The future is not a stage to conquer, it's a table to set, one faithful plate at a time. Recognizing fulfillment is less about spotting fireworks and more about feeling roots take hold. It's the end of rehearsing old arguments and the beginning of living new patterns. It's when heaven's yes doesn't need your megaphone because it already changed your posture. And when posture changes, paths open without you pounding on doors. Stay with the peace that stayed with you. That's where fulfillment lives. What heaven gives rarely arrives ready for the spotlight. It arrives like a newborn, holy, tender, needing warmth and quiet. Protection isn't secrecy born of fear, it's stewardship born of love. The first assignment after fulfillment begins is not to announce, but to hold. Think greenhouse before garden. Let roots take before you ask for fruit. Protection begins with choosing where and with whom the gift breathes. Not every ear is a cradle. Some rooms dry out what just landed. Others water it without asking for a show. Share sparsely and only with people who can pray more than they pry. Keep your sentences short and your tone clean. Intercessors are shelter. Opinion without reverence is wind. Can you let the gift breathe before you brand it? Your body will tell you when you're protecting the holy well. Shoulders lower, jaw unwinds. Hunger for noise fades. Choose simple rituals that keep your nervous system calm enough to hear. Water before scream. Word before opinions. Answers after a breath. Open a window. Clear your desk. Put the phone across the room. These are not small. They are scaffolding for presence. Heaven does not rush what it intends to last. Boundaries are part of protection. Love with borders preserves tenderness. Love without borders leaks into fatigue. Decline arenas that demand your process as content. Decline conversations that circle the same drain. Decline invitations that require a character you no longer play. A gentle "not now" is often the most spiritual sentence in the room. When peace expands after you say it, heaven has signed. Calendars protect or expose what God entrusts. Clear small backlogs so your day has margins, unanswered messages, lingering paperwork, a corner of your space that keeps stealing attention. Excellence in ordinary tasks becomes bodyguard to the anointing. Keep hours that honor your body. Eat with sobriety. Sleep on time. Walk outside. You are not a machine asked to output a miracle. You are a temple asked to host one. Guard imagination. When fulfillment begins, fantasy offers counterfeit momentum, loud scenarios, speed without root, applause without assignment. Send it away kindly. Vision is quieter. A next right step you can take today without ripping your peace. Pray short and plain. Lord, guard what you gave me. Light the next step. The gift doesn't need a perfect rollout. It needs a repeatable rhythm. Choose table over stage. Table makes room for prayer, laughter, honest silence. Stage demands narrative, accelerates time, and tempts you to spend tomorrow's strength proving today's grace. If someone insists on details you don't owe, bless them and keep your borders. The things that should be told will ripen. Unripe testimony turns sweet truth sour. Protection also means returning what isn't yours. Keys you kept out of guilt. Roles you accepted to buy belonging. Promises fear, signed in your name. Give them back with kindness. Alignment lightens the bag. You'll feel it in your walk. Less clatter, more ground. Expect pressure tests. Compliments tied to strings. Manufactured urgency dressed as responsibility. Curiosity pretending to be care. Answer with precision, not performance. Fewer words, softer voice, clear edges. Those who carry honor will meet you at your pace. Those who came for access will call your calm distance and look for a different door. That's not rejection. That's the fence doing its job. If grief visits for what won't come with you, sit with it. Grief isn't regression. It's your heart resizing for the new. 3 slow breaths. 1 psalm under your breath. 1 act of order. And the compass returns. Then, resume the minimum faithful step. A clean message that closes a loop. 1 task finished that had been bleeding attention. 1 room aired out. 1 bill paid. 1 thank you sent. The kingdom loves ordinary ground because ordinary ground can hold a garden. As you protect, notice a new authority settling in. Your no stops shaking. Your yes fits your mouth. You don't over-explain to calm the room. Constancy becomes your reputation. Peace becomes your proof. You are not hiding to the gift. You are rooting it. Which voices keep your peace seated after prayer? Hold to a simple triage while you walk. Where peace is rest after prayer, remain. Where it refuses to rest, do not force. If it feels neutral, wait. Neutral isn't green. Record the confirmations without turning them into content. Let gratitude be private first. Heaven trusts people who don't spend grace the moment it arrives. Do you want speed or permanence? Protection always chooses permanence. It keeps you small enough to hear, slow enough to notice, strong enough to refuse what would make you impressive, but empty. Protecting what has been delivered is not delay. It is multiplication in disguise. When the roots are ready, the fruit will make its own announcement, and you won't need to push a single door for it to be seen. When a heaven-marked day touches down, the impact doesn't explode. It settles. The room feels the same and somehow heavier with meaning. Your chest loosens. Your thoughts stack in clean lines. You aren't scrambling to keep what arrived. Its own weight keeps it in place. That is how spiritual impact moves, not as a rush to the head, but as gravity to the heart. Priorities begin to reorder without an argument. The calendar thins to essentials. Words get shorter and truer. You notice which conversations add oxygen and which siphon it. People who love with honor come closer without pulling. People who loved access more than you drift to a natural distance. You don't have to make speeches about boundaries. The new weight of peace does the arranging. Your discernment changes texture. Before today, you looked for proof to steady your faith. After impact, faith steadies the proof. An email lands at a precise minute. A passing sentence unlocks a stuck place. A delay steers you around a hole you didn't know was ahead. You're not hunting omens. You're walking, and providence keeps catching up. The question shifts from, is this real, to, how do I honor this partly? Integration is part of the miracle. Keep your body in on the process. Water before screen, word before opinions, responses after a breath. Clear a corner of your space. Finish the small task that's been bleeding attention. Sleep on time. Walk outside. Excellence in ordinary things becomes armor for what God just entrusted. The extraordinary likes to live where the everyday is tended. Pressure will test the new ground. Friendly flattery with strings. Manufactured urgency dressed as responsibility. Curiosity pretending to be care. Answer with precision, not performance. Fewer words, softer tone, clear edges. If peace expands after you speak, the fence held. If peace shrinks, you said too much or said it too soon. You don't owe details to prove gratitude. Gratitude can be private while roots go deep. Authority starts to arrive without noise. Your no stops shaking. Your yes fits your mouth. You stop auditioning for rooms that would cost you the access you just recovered. Constancy becomes your argument. Fruit becomes your proof. You no longer need to manage other people's conclusions. Reputation grows where consistency lives. The rest is wind. Imagination heals here. Fantasy loses its sugar rush. Vision grows quiet feet. Plans gain margins so you can breathe between steps. Hope changes tone. It stops sounding like a pep talk and starts building like architecture. Time itself stops feeling like an enemy. Delays look less like punishment and more like choreography, edits that keep you in the lane you prayed for. Can you bless the edits as part of the mercy? Keep choosing table over stage. Table makes space for prayer, laughter, and honest silence. Stage demands narrative and spends tomorrow's strength to explain today's grace. If someone insists on turning your process into content, bless them and hold your border. What should be told will ripen. Unripe testimony sours the sweetness it tries to share. What comes after impact is continuity. The day that marked you becomes a way of walking. Repeat the minimum faithful step. The clean message that closes a loop. The limits spoken without harshness. The thank you sent. The bill paid, the corner tidied, the prayer whispered in a voice you can sustain. These small obediences turn a moment into a path. Expect a soft ache for what cannot come with you. Sit with it. Grief is not regression, it's your heart resizing for the new. 3 slow breaths, 1 psalm under your breath, 1 act of gentle order, and the compass returns. You honor what was without dragging it into the shape that is forming now. If doubt taps your shoulder, use the same triage that carried you here. Where peace rests after prayer, remain. Where it refuses, do not force. If it feels neutral, wait. Neutral is not green. Write the confirmations down, not to hoard them, but to remember them when the next quiet day asks for trust again. And the after? Doors begin to open without you pounding. Conversations find you instead of being chased. Work carries excellence without craving spotlight. Care for your people stops draining you because guilt is no longer the fuel. The cadence that started today becomes your new baseline. Presence over performance, coherence over habit, direction over approval. Keep walking at that pace. The same hand that marked this Friday will keep arranging the road, without a hurry, without a stage, and with a peace that knows how to stay. Some days pass through you. This one settles in you. It doesn't demand a headline, it leaves a seal. The room looks the same, but the weight is different. Not heavy like burden, heavy like roots. Your chest loosens. Your thoughts stop sprinting. The inner noise turns into a steady hum you can pray inside of. That's how you know a heaven-marked day has done its work, not by fireworks, but by an axis returning to its place. What stays is not a single moment. It's a new cadence. Short, honest sentences instead of speeches. A clean no that saves your day. A simple yes that fits your spirit. Work remains, but striving falls off of it. Care remains, but guilt stops funding it. You didn't become a different person. You became the person your spirit has been training you to be. That is impact you can live with. Tomorrow morning, memory begins to reorder. The past steps out of the narrator's chair and sits in the archive where it belongs. When it visits, it doesn't drag you. It teaches you. The urge to over-explain fades. You stop auditioning for rooms that need your apology more than your anointing. Constancy becomes your answer. Fruit becomes your proof. Reputation grows best where peace sleeps well. The sign that this day will remain is the gentleness that follows you into small things. A room aired out before the next call. Water before screen. Word before opinions. Responses after a breath. You don't do these to be impressive. You do them because grace likes to live where the ordinary is tended. Heaven's yes keeps showing up as stay with the simple. The drawer cleared, the invoice paid, the message sent with a steady tone. That's not small, that's architecture. Relationships find their right distance without a scene. Those who carry honor come close without pulling. Those who came for access call your calm distance and look for another door. You don't chase. Love with borders remains love. The tables that matter feel quieter. There is laughter. There are prayers. There is silence that doesn't accuse you. You leave fuller than you arrived. Stage asks for narrative. Table makes room for presence. Choose table. Providence keeps leaving its quiet signatures. A line you needed falls onto a page. A person you tried to meet finds you instead. A delay redirects you around a hole you couldn't see. You bless the edits. You stop calling choreography bad timing. Time itself softens. It is no longer an enemy you must outrun, but a river you learn to enter at the right bend. Do you notice how peace lasts longer when you refuse to push what already wants to stay? If grief rises for what won't continue with you, sit with it. Grief isn't regression. It is your heart resizing to fit the new shape. 3 breaths, 1 psalm under your breath, 1 act of gentle order. The compass returns. You honor what was without dragging it across the threshold you just crossed. Some doors are holy because they remain closed. Write down what confirmed you today. Not to perform it, but to remember it. Private gratitude keeps roots moist. Tell the story later when the fruit can speak for itself. Unripe testimony turns sweet truth sour. Let it finish. When it is time to share, peace will sit in the chair of your voice, and you won't need to raise it. Keep the triage that carried you here close at hand. Where peace rests after prayer, remain. Where it refuses to rest, don't force. If it feels neutral, wait. Neutral is not green. Small, faithful steps, again and again, turn a marked day into a marked path. The kingdom loves ordinary ground, because ordinary ground can hold a garden. And if tomorrow looks normal, don't let the word fool you. Normal with an axis is a different world than normal without it. You will notice it when an old invitation returns and your hands don't shake. You will notice it when a decision that once demanded drama fits in 1 sentence. You will notice it when joy stops needing volume to be real. This won't be remembered because something loud happened to you. It will be remembered because something quiet happened in you and stayed. Keep walking at the pace you found today. Presence over performance, coherence over habit, direction over approval. The one who circled this Friday hasn't stopped arranging your road. Breathe, bless, and take the smallest faithful step. The day is over, but its cadence is not.